Jim, thank you so much for coming on the Winner's Paradigm podcast, brother. It's an immense honor because I was talking to my man Cameron Kellogg and he kept talking about his coach and talking about how great you are, brother. And I was like, man, I got to get you on the show. So while I'm on the phone with him, helping him out with his podcast, DM'd you, was able to get you booked. So thank you for being flexible, number one. Before we jump into that today, would you mind giving a brief intro, who you are, what you're passionate about, brother?
Yeah, man. Number one, I want to thank you for letting me be here with you and being able to talk to your audience and communicate it with people of like mind. I love doing that every day. My name is Jim Vance, and I'm a men's identity and success coach. So I spend a lot of time with men all around the world, and I'm super passionate about helping men find themselves. Like I think a lot of men in the world have lost who they are by chasing things to fulfill what's missing inside of them. So I try to get men to return back to them so they can live fully in the world. But I've been doing that for about 5 years. I love it. It's something my wife does it too. She works with women, and we work with couples together. So it's a really cool kind of mix of fun every day.
Hell yeah, brother. And that's awesome. Is me and my wife were working up to there. And it's funny because she used to say, like, I would never do that. I would never talk about it. But you have the simple conversations. And then what's funny now is I find her getting frustrated. Like, why are people this way? Why do people think this way? Like, it's so frustrating. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's because you have that awareness, when you understand, you see things. And once you're at that level, you have one simple conversation with people, kind of like me and you in the DMs, we're shooting messages back to each other. Like you could tell exactly who that person is by the way that they're moving, how fast that they're speaking, the
Yep.
energy, the impact behind it. People don't understand that. So for you guys, brother, when we're talking about energy and we're talking about pouring into, helping other men, helping other women, what is that like when you're able to transfer that energy and help them get started on their journey as well?
I think our biggest goal, and I have a mentor. He always said that it's not your job to teach pigs to sing, right? So I don't try to get people to see anything that I see. I try to get them to see themselves for the first time, and so that's my goal. So that's all I ever do, and so I carry the energy of me being aware of me in everything that I do, and so by that leadership model, I'm teaching men to do the same thing. My wife is I'm good and I feel like I'm pretty fantastic, but she's like far ascended. And and she's been a model for me. And we've been together for 10 years. And she's been a model for me and how you are to approach your daily existence and how you look at yourself, not look at other people and how they're moving, not look at what they're doing to cause you to move. Why are you moving? Who are you being that creates this energy in the world? And so from that frame of reference, that's kind of how I move men to start paying attention to who they're being in regards to the world and then how the world responds to that person.
Oh, I like that a lot. And that is something, that I'm recently been going through as well is as I'm sharing more and more and more, you're doing something right when you're getting those hate comments, you're getting those people that want to say something else. And it's funny because I'm like, bro, all I do is just fucking pay attention to men and I help men. So I know exactly where the fuck you're at if you're over here saying
Mm-hmm.
something indirectly or you want to say, for instance, I was talking about not drinking. And then I was talking about getting up at 3:30 a.m. And there was a person that was like, I would never do either of those. I would never stop drinking. I would never stop getting up at 3:30. And then I talked about getting a 6-pack by December 31st. And I was like, why not have a fucking crazy goal? And I was like, and the dude was smaller than me. That's what was funny. And he was like, I can never do that. I was like, bro, I got 30 pounds on you and I can still do it
Mm-hmm.
because I know what I can push my body to. And I was like, if you have this mindset of saying you can't do something or, oh, that's too fucking hard, I'm not going to do it, then why even try at anything? And I was like, the way you
Exactly.
do one thing is the way you do everything. And that person just looked at me and got fucking pissed off.
Exactly. I mean, and the old saying, hate only comes from below. And so most people hate on you because you remind them of what they've given up on. And so if you're a constant reminder of what you can be in the world, you're going to have a lot of people that are constantly reminded of what they're not being in the world. And
Oh,
so they're going to poke at you because they don't want to poke at themselves because most people are outwardly driven. They're not inwardly focused. And so when you're outwardly driven, you're always looking for reasons why things can't be the way they are. When you're inwardly focused, you're looking for reasons why things can be the way you want them to be.
And how do we address that and move forward from there? Because right now, a whole lot of what's going on is seeking the external validation instead of seeking internal validation, to where we have all these people going to the wrong areas to try to fill those voids.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, um, the pain has to get rough enough for men specifically. Men move from pain, right? We won't do anything until the house is burning down, and then we start to move. Like, oh God, hey, I'm getting divorced tomorrow. Can you fix it? No, I can't. Right? Hey, my house is burned down. Can you save it? No, I can't. And so I try to teach men to move more toward pleasure. Like, if you're moving from pain all the time, women move to pleasure all the time, right? And so if women, when they start to feel the lack of pleasure, they start looking at why the pleasure is missing. Men, they get the pain has to be so significant for them to move toward pleasure that it's ridiculous. And so you have to reverse the brain of like, hey, why don't we just move toward the thing we want instead of settling for the thing we have? And so it's a
Oh,
constant internal battle of, hey, we're obviously we're 95% of what we do is subconscious, and it's just on rote memory. Boom, boom, boom. I wake up, I do this, I do this, I do this. I wake up, I do this, I do this, I do this. And if you don't create the habits, behaviors, and beliefs that align with the person you think you want to be, then you're going to repeat whatever your mom and dad taught you to be. You're going to repeat whatever your society taught you to be. You're going to repeat whatever your culture taught you to be. And you're just going to repeat, 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 repeat. No matter how great you become, no matter how fucking amazing you think you can become, you're always going to return because you can't outperform your identity. And then until you change the identity, you're going to return back to the mediocre identity that you have. Yeah, you can be fat and say, I'm going to go work out 7 days a week. After day 3, you're eating bonbons and at a buffet, and you done gave up because you haven't changed the person doing the thing. You're just doing the thing, trying to be the same person. It doesn't work.
man, I feel attacked because you just spoke exactly everything I've been going through, and I love that, bro. That is something for me, in for instance, this year's been the hardest year of my life, and also the best year of my life. And it's funny because at the same time, with change came a different lifestyle, came a different way. And for me, I was one of
Mhm.
those glass half full type guys to where you excel in business, but you're not excelling in your marriage. You're doing well, but you're not healing those inner wounds. So that's why you're repeating the mistakes of your parents. You're being a fucking idiot. You're just not being and living in that potential. And it was funny because for me, I cut out the drinking, been over a year. I cut out the partying. I cut out the, external validation. I really just went inward, started being more of an introvert, focusing on what my passion was, which is podcasting, helping other men, because I
Mhm.
realized the same thing, when last year, December 31st, 2022, got on my knees praying to God. And I was like, God, some shit needs to change because this isn't it, and that pain fucking hurt because I was about to lose everything. And
Mhm.
I can tell you, and that's why I love the way you said that, is that pain and then moving towards pleasure is once I stopped focusing on how bad it hurt and I started focusing on creating that man I admire and creating that man who doesn't break character. It was hilarious because now I seen, where I was missing before, and now I read it in other people to where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, that guy gets mad because of this. Yo, that guy gets mad. And I was in an entrepreneurship group, and one guy was trying to get validation because he wakes up at 4:30 in the morning. And I was like, man, that's cool and all, but I wake up at 3:30. I wake up at 3 most days. So for you to say that, that's good. But someone's always going to outwork you. Someone's out to do you.
Mhm.
The point is, you need to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to be able to address that. Because if that point when somebody says that, if you get any feelings from it, it means you have something to work through. And
Mhm.
it was funny because I really didn't like the guy for that. And it brought me back to, hey, why don't I like this guy? Oh, because I'm highly competitive. And I'm always thinking, because of my dad, that, oh, that motherfucker's not it. So I'm always saying
Mhm.
things like that. And it's funny because sometimes I don't give people a chance, but it's like all you got to do is listen and then
Mhm.
go back to yourself and reassess it. Hey, am I being wrong within this time? The majority of times you're not going to, because if you have that awareness, you've done that work, you're going to pick it up pretty damn quick and you can move on. If your gut's telling you that it's a red flag, it's a fucking red flag. And I think that's one thing people don't realize as well, is they don't trust their own intuition. They
Absolutely.
trust, oh, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be this. And that's why they keep going in this cycle of getting
Mhm.
hurt and then not excelling.
Well, a lot of men try to think their way through bullshit, right? They try to solve the problems with the same brain that created the problem. And they don't trust their intuition because their intuition is a very feminine energy. And everybody has it, But men think their brain is smarter than their soul. And so when you say, hey, when I started listening to this part of myself, my brain doesn't have to think anymore. I can just move instead of trying to figure out all the way path forward, instead of trusting in myself that I'm making the right decisions and the right moves in every moment. And even if I fuck it up, I'm able to, hey, I made this choice. I thought it was right. It wasn't, it's a dead end. So I need to make another choice. I need to make another choice. I need to make another choice. Like, your life is just a series of decisions and choices, especially within the masculine energy. It's how pointed are you in trusting yourself to move versus how, fearful are you of trusting yourself. And fear really is just the lack of trust yourself in a moment. And that's where a lot of men, they don't trust themselves because they've never really taken the opportunity to actually make decisions for themselves. All their decisions have been made for them. They've been in family dynamics where mama took care of them. Then they went into relational dynamics where they found a mama to take care of them, and their food is cooked and their clothes are washed, and they just got to get up and go to work. They don't make any decisions. They're just living in the feminine energy. The masculine energy is always making fucking choices. We're always leading. We're always pointed. We're always moving. We're always forward oriented. We're logically moving throughout our life. When you're feeling like all you do is lean back and receive all day long, feminine. Feminine,
Oh,
feminine, feminine. If like, hey, woman, get in there and make me some sandwiches. Feminine. Did you wash my clothes? Feminine. Feminine. The man is the giver. The man is the doer. The woman is the receiver. Society's reconstructed the idea in people's minds so that they can eliminate masculine leadership out of the household. Because what's the best way to control society? Get rid of leadership.
boom. Man, mic drop right there. I love that, and it's something that you're seeing all the fucking time is,
Mm-hmm.
men, and that, what's funny is I went into that same issue with my wife. My wife was like, "You're too macho. You're not in your feminine energy." So I was talking to my breathwork coach, and I was like, "Man," she said that, and he goes, "Oh, you're not. It's not about you being in feminine energy." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're not leading correctly." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bro?" And like, I was getting upset with him. He's like, "You're not leading correctly. You're listen to your woman. She's going to show you how she wants to be led. She's going to show you how she wants you to show up." And I was just like, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, so you also talk about judgment. You're always judging people, saying whatever. Your woman doesn't want to hear you judge or whatever. You can point the picture, you can lead in a different way, but there's better ways than you talking shit or saying directly how you feel than leading your woman in that actual right direction." So for me, I started leading in a different way. And then all of a sudden she's like, "Man, you're coming with a different energy. You're waking up differently. You're happier. You're laughing a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Like you're creating this side to you." Because when I stopped drinking, I was boring and I didn't want to do anything, and it was creating problems. So it was funny is when I looked at the way my woman actually wants to be led, it led me to become a better leader. And that's something we need to do, is actually trust in ourselves to make those decisions.
Absolutely. I think, a lot of times, and you mentioned the word macho, which is a wounded masculine energy, controlling, wounded masculine, competitive, wounded masculine, aggressive, wounded masculine, manipulative, wounded masculine. All those, a healthy masculine energy is heart centered. They lead with love first, which is crazy because, oh, women are the loving being. No, men, the masculine is the loving energy. The feminine is the lustful energy. And so when you leave out of your heart, you're going to, your first thing is love. So I'm going to look at the things that I love and I want to take care of those things. I'm not going to think about myself in terms of, I need to judge this compared to myself. I need to, oh, he's this, she's that, this is this, this is that. I don't care. You be you, do your thing. I'm going to do me. That's one thing I've probably grown the most in, is like, I've eliminated my idea of what judgment is of other people, because in that I'm not able to even see them for who they are. I'm only seeing them for what they're not for me. And so when I'm able to see people for who they are, then I can find something to love in everybody. I can't, if I'm constantly in judgment of somebody because of one thing they aren't for me, or one thing that I don't like that I like, then I'm not able to see anything about them. And I'm not able to receive anything from them. I'm not able to learn from them. I'm not able to actually connect with people. So the less judgment I have, and I can just sit there and look at them and talk to them and see where they are, then I'm able to receive from them. I'm able to learn. I try to learn from everybody. I'm not above anybody. It's the one thing I do. So it doesn't matter who you are. When I sit down to talk to you, I'm sitting down to talk to you. I'm not sitting down to teach you. I'm not sitting down to be above you. I'm not sitting down to pour down from heaven on high to you. I'm here to listen. I'm here to grow with you. That's where I like to live. Like a parallel path.
I love that, brother. And that's something I struggled with, is as I did the self-development and started talking about other, 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs, I realized I created that problem where I'm like, if you're not on this level, don't fucking talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it created more problems versus now where it's like, I can talk, and I just let people listen and then I cast the judgment. And then I'm like, all right, this is where they're at. This is how we can help each other. Or I see, hey, maybe we're not a fit. We're not in alignment. But 2, you can also tell, the reason why for me I realized that was I was running in the same fucking situation with people is I'm high energy and I move fast. So it's discouraging to people. And I always get people to tell me shit because they're like, man, you don't slow down. You don't do this. And I'm like, oh, I don't have fucking time to do that. I'm a parent, dude. Like, last fucking thing you need to do as a parent is move fucking slow and then have this hesitation around your kids, because then they're going to have the fucking hesitation. And then you're going to be upset. Why is my kids always having this hesitation? Why aren't they this? Because you fucking led them that way. So I noticed for me, it's like I'm always coming in this energy of go, 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 go. And it's discouraging to other people. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I can either see that in a good light and be like, okay, I can help them in this way if they're receptive to it. And if they're not receptive to it, hey, bro, I love you, but I'm going to hit you up and later on because right now we're not aligning.
Yeah. Two, it's probably a learning path for you too. A learning path being the masculine is stillness. It's not speed. The feminine is speed. So what the masculine does for the world, it brings consciousness. And so when you're able to slow it down, you're not making decisions off of speed. You're making decisions off of what I see to be the truth.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's funny is this weekend, actually, well, yeah, we'll say that. So went back home, Fresno, California, twice. So it was last year on Christmas and then earlier like August for one of my nephew's birthdays. And then we were down for Thanksgiving. And it was funny because it was a stillness. I've been working on stillness and really just being at peace with myself. And it was funny because throughout this time period of being there this weekend and half last week and then this weekend is it was a different energy. And for me, it was funny because it was like, oh, I couldn't go to the gym for 2 days. So I'm doing a backyard workout.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for a walk. And there's a Mexican bakery. So I was going to go get bread. It was closed. So I ended up getting a cup of coffee. And I'm just walking. And it was just like going down memory lane. And I'm laughing and I'm having a different energy because normally I'm like, I fucking hate being here. I fucking hate this place. It's a shithole. And I get in that negative. So really just being the positive, being like, hey, I'm grateful I'm not here anymore. I'm grateful for this. My mom had an affair with my wrestling coach 7.5 years later. She's still with him, living with my grandmother. So to me, I would hate being around, even going near.
Yeah.
So I took my sister up from the house because I'm like, it's fucking embarrassing to me that you're still in that same position, not helping yourself, running around with this dude who's not helping you. So I used to get so angry about it. And then also had this gym debacle where my mom would always say, oh, we don't have money to go to the gym. You don't have money to get gym membership. And my buddy gave me his gym membership. I go to this fucking gym and I'm like, it's not even anything fucking special, So it was funny is that stillness, that calmness with me was understanding it. And the icing on the motherfucking cake was this one dude was like, hey man, you remember me? We used to smoke weed before school together. And I was laughing because I was just like, this is why I fucking left this place. It's like these little reminders. And I'm fucking grateful for it now because now, in a different energy, in a different way, but I don't no longer have to operate the same way. And I had to fucking change because what I was doing was not working.
And that's the key, right? Like what you just said in a roundabout way is, a lot of people like, oh, you got to heal this and you got to fix this and you just have to see it. Like if you spend more time seeing yourself rather than trying to fix yourself, you're going to see what doesn't align and you're going to see what does align. And you're going to pay attention to, I don't like this disalignment here. I'm going to move toward the things that are aligned. And instead of, oh God, like this shit right here, I need to fix this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And you just get stuck rolling around in your shit all day long about what you are and what you went through and this, that, and the other thing. And there's no actual movement toward what you want. And so how do I move myself toward this thing every day? And it takes, like you said, just being in a places where at some point cause you some level of heartache, pain, trouble, and being able to see it as, man, I'm grateful I went through that.
Amen, brother.
Because I
And
was, I give you an example. I was homeless for 9 months. I had 3 degrees and I was homeless, right? I got divorced like 13, 14 years ago. I was living in a parking lot of the school I taught at for 9 months. So I would eat there, take a shower there, work until like midnight, get in my car for 3 or 4 hours, and then go back to work inside. I had a key to the place. And in those moments, I hated every second. But now I can look back and be like, in those moments, I learned everything about myself. I learned everything I could go through. I learned everything, and in those moments I hated my ex-wife. I hated who I was having to be in order to take care of my kids because of the divorce and all that kind of stuff. Um, but at the end of the day, it was like, man, I can go through all the shit in the world and it still can't burn me down. And I'm built like solid, and I can get through shit. And those moments even fortified who I am. It didn't tear me apart. It fortified me.
let's talk about that, brother.
Yeah.
How did you create that, and what do you recommend for us to create that man who doesn't deceive from his character, doesn't break, and continues to be solid even when the tough times like that happen?
So it's practice, number one, right? It takes a lot of practice because most people, I'm not even saying most people are taught to that when they fall apart or when they fail or when they fuck up, then like they shouldn't try that anymore, or they should stop moving, or they should sulk and be down on themselves. And I've gotten to a place where it's just like, and I even, if you ask Cameron, he'll tell you, like, first call with every one-on-one class, like, hey, we're gonna fuck it up a lot, but we're gonna learn too. Because I always take it back like it's riding a bicycle. When you first learn to ride a bicycle, you get on it, you fall off. You don't just stop pedaling the bike. You get the fuck up on it and pedal that bitch again, and you keep going until you can ride with your hands off of it. But it takes practice of learning what it feels like to fall down. Look at your situation. Why did I fall? Why is this happening? What can I do better here? And then how do I move that? How do I move that to the place I want to be? Because the lesson is, how do I take my current situation and move it toward the place I'm trying to be in? So if I'm fucking up here, how do I make this a win? And instead of, God, this means I'm a piece of shit and I suck at life because I failed. That's not true. You're not a piece of shit. You just didn't know how to do it. Now you're learning how to do it. It's just like walking. It's like riding a bike. It's like throwing a baseball. It's like wrestling. It's like working out. Working out is the same way I used to teach. And when I taught it like the best way to get smart is you got to get your brain swollen. They're like, what does that mean? I was like, you got to increase the weight that you think your brain can hold, and you'll realize your brain will expand to the weight. And it's the same way with your character. You got to increase the weight that you think your character can hold, and you will increase the strength of your character.
Oh, I love that. And that's something that I take, and that is something that I learned in the gym as well. Is just learning the movements, but more importantly, connecting it. And connecting the dots for yourself. That it's
Mm-hmm.
not just that I'm doing this row; it's that my arm, excuse me, that essentially it's an anchor, to my elbow, and I'm moving it backwards, and I'm getting this anchor to go back, and that's how I'm doing these rows. So it was funny. It's
Mm-hmm.
like these little different things. It's not just muscling it. It's not just having that contraction. There's more to the equation. And if you deviate from that, it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
work out. And I'd say for me, and it was funny, is Cameron literally said the same exact thing you said. And he goes, if you try deviating from your character, good fucking luck, because you're going to get smacked in the face. And I was like, you know what? It's 100% right. I talk to people all the time, and they're trying to tell me, you need to have a little bit of fun. And I was just talking to somebody who I get up at 3:30 a.m. to hit the gym. They were at the club till 4:30 a.m. They were late to do what they needed to do the next morning. I was already good to go by 7, taken care of, ready for the day. And I was just saying, for me, I don't need that external validation. I don't need to go out. I don't need to do these things. Plus, I don't drink anymore. So it's just putting me in a position to fail.
Yeah.
And why am I going to do that? If I'm a married man, I don't need to be out if I'm not with my wife. And that's just a fact, and
I
people
agree.
don't understand those things, is they think that, oh, we can have this fun life. We can be a male and have all these women friends. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? If you're single, but if you're married, it's not going to lead you to the way that you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because why are you going to go to any other woman that is not your woman? it's only going to create a bigger problem. And people
Yeah.
don't understand those things.
And when men are doing that, they're looking for a sexual substitute. So they're looking for energy from the feminine, like drinking, smoking, partying, being around women. They're trying to get feminine energy. That's all they're trying to balance themselves out. But they're doing it in such a way that they're not actually able to receive it. They're just trying to feel it. And so, like you've gotten to this place with your wife. I've gotten to this place with my wife where I have the feminine energy around me all the time. I have 2 daughters too. And so feminine energy pervades my life. And so for me to go and look for it is stupid. To me to go and try to taste it is stupid. I have it. I'm consumed with it. And so trying to substitute what I have with something that artificially gives me a feeling doesn't align with who I am in here. Right? Women do the same thing. It's the same. You're trying to find the energy you think you're missing. So these guys are missing something in their life. Obviously, they're missing feminine energy. They're missing probably something in here, some level of happiness in here. So they're trying to fill that up from the outside. And the only way back to happiness is back to self. Only way to love is back to self. Right? God created you in perfect love. 1000%. He didn't deviate from that. He's like, everybody, you're all created in my perfect vision, which is perfect love. And so I can't be anything but that. But society says, go find it. And so you split yourself into a million pieces to go find what you think is love or happiness or joy or peace. But the reality is all you have to do is return. And there it is.
Oh,
and then you become love, you become happy, you become joy, you become peace, and then you're able to give it to the world.
Man, that hit, because I dealt with a particular individual there, and I said I was wrong initially because he was talking. I was like, bro, you're hesitating. You're just not it. And then it went into, hearing him out, and the more and more it plays, I'm like, there's something missing with this guy, and that's why he's acting the way he is. And it was funny because at the same time, we're talking about this energy in the way that we're giving, the way that we're showing up, and then it clicked. It's like some people move differently, and that is one thing. One thing me and that person are going to do is just conflict because I move differently. And I don't need that, and then of course, I've pissed a couple people off this week because they were telling me that antidepressants is a way to go, and you can always find something for you. And I'm like, I know for me, I gained fucking weight, made me feel fucking terrible, made me feel worse. But you know what does work? And they're like, here we fucking go. And I was like, I journal 3 times a day. I work out twice a day. I get grounded and fucking walk outside with my shoes off. And they're like, what the fuck? You're saying some woo-woo shit. And I'm like, if you pour the time into loving yourself and figuring out what you need to do for your own self first, then you're going to see, the different side of it. And I was like, everybody thinks, and they get mad at me, oh, you just want to be in the gym. No, motherfucker, I have to be in the gym every single day. It's not that I get to, I have to be for my mental health because I want to scream at motherfuckers all the time. And we keep dealing with these stubborn people who want to be stuck in their way or know that going out is wrong, know that seeking external validation is wrong. And then they still want to fight it. So for me, I'm like, going to the gym allows me to be here in a different energy for you. Because without those workouts, I'm fucking pissed. And when that person's coming in with that bullshit, I just want to snap on them.
Yeah, I agree. I've used workouts. My wife would tell you, while I'm working out, I'll create all kinds of just deep thoughts and understanding. Like I'll just send her these texts. She goes, "Where the hell did this come from?" I'm like, "This is what my brain does when I'm in workout mode because my brain slows down. Everything slows down in my life. And I'm just concentrated in on one thing. And as that happens, the thoughts just slow down and they slow down. And the more they slow down, the more I'm able to think through everything that's going on in my world. And I'm able to come up with these ideas. Like I keep a running list of quotes and thoughts that I want to talk about and teach about. And it's just thousands and thousands and thousands of long where I'm just sitting there, boom, boom, in between sets, knocked out 5 new quotes. And it's because I'm taking time to stop being busy in the world and I'm being busy with myself.
Oh, that's another strong point there, brothers. You got to be busy with yourself, not the world. And so the way society is, is it's look and see what everybody else is doing, and it's the do as I say, not do as I do. And I love that because, it all reverts back to not deviating from that character. And when you don't do that, that's when you lead differently. And for me, it was funny is I had a partnership that fell out last year in December and been trying to get my business back in order. And the more that I focused on the business and the business, it didn't work out. But when I focused on not deviating from who I am, being the best that I can be, showing up with different energy. Clients just came, life became easier,
Yes.
and people seeing that for what it is versus me trying to do something that I wasn't. So I love the way that you said that, brother.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big thing too, where you feel like men, we feel like we got to chase everything to get it. And this is where we can learn to receive shit. Like you can do the work of the pursuit, and then at some point you got to sit and relax. Like a good hunter. A good hunter does the work of finding the right spot, putting on the right clothes, getting his ammunition correct, sitting sitting downwind, getting everything perfect. And then he has to sit and receive. He's got to let nature move to him. Instead of trying to make nature move for him, he tries to let nature move to him. And as he does, instead of trying to chase the animal, he lets the animal come. And as the animal comes, then he's able to kill. And it's the same way. That nature lets you know all the time of how you should operate. Nature never hurries; everything gets done. Like it's a famous Lao Tzu quote, but he always says like, "Nature never hurries, yet everything gets done." And it's like,
Mhm.
fuck, that makes so much sense because nature is just life and death all the time. It's a continuous cycle, and it reminds you like you have to slow down sometimes to actually see what is out there because you can get so busy moving fast in the world that you forget to see what's going on in here.
Amen, brother. You've been an amazing guest today. It's been an amazing episode. So I'll leave you with the last question here. What would you say to the previous version of ourselves? We don't know where to start. We just want to align ourselves with our definition of success.
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say know yourself. That's the first thing. Like not know yourself through the eyes of others, but know yourself through the eyes of you. Look at you. Who do you want to be? Who are you being? And then who do I need to be be the person I want to be? Like who are you being? Who do I want to be? And then who do I need to be? Because there's a big difference there. Like I see this version of myself over here. I see this version of who I'm being right now. And what places do I need to grow in to become that man? And so that takes a lot of self-reflection, takes a lot of self-awareness, and it takes a lot of time with you. Instead of you with other people and you with other things or you and other tasks, it's you and you. Look in the mirror every day. Tell yourself you love yourself and see what happens. Forgive yourself for the shit you've done. Be proud of the man you're being. Find ways to be proud of you every day and watch your life take off.
Hell yeah, brother. I love that so much. It's just something I talk about on a regular basis. So thank you again, brother. Where can people find you if they want to keep up with you? They want to hear more.
Um, they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Me and my wife have a podcast together called the Advance Your Life Podcast, in which we talk like all things relational dynamics, which is cool. But I'm really active on Instagram, really active on TikTok. So love to mix and mingle with people there. I'm the.conscious.man.
Yes, sir. We'll have that in the show notes. Thank you again, my friend. It was an honor. I know I definitely want to have you on for a second in the future. So thank you again, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.